I don't have no notes. So I'm just going to speak. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life. It's my privilege to speak to you today about our fourth day. Our fourth day. I also had a fourth day, just like you are going to have a fourth day from tomorrow to continue. See, I can stand here because I have a story to tell. Just like each and every one of you guys have a story to tell. And my story started as a child. I would call it, I had a childhood. I was a boy with let's call it a nice name, a misplaced childhood. Growing up, as a boy, I grew up in a house with a father. I was a large kid. My brothers and sisters, they took out the house when I was still very young. But I had a dad who was, he grew up in a tough family when he was small. So he didn't know how to show love. He had a lot of anger in him. And he knew how to fight. And he knew how to shout and scream and break one down. He knew how to do it very well, much better than he knew how to give love. So this was the household that I grew up in. So, I grew up in a town. This caused me to be a little bit different when I was growing up to normal people. And I grew up in a town where people judged me and they criticized me and they shunned me and pushed me out just because I was different. And this caused me to live a life of sin and a life of anger and obviously a life of addiction. My addiction became I became an addict at a very young age while I was still at school. That's where I found my peace, at first just with cigarettes and dacha and alcohol. But my addictions quickly grew. And my addictions grew in intensity up until the age of 33, which made me an addict for 16 years. Being a tattoo artist and a body piercer by profession, I had a lot of friends, a lot of connections to drug addicts, a lot of connections to runners, drug pushers. Because I was a tattoo artist, I also knew a lot of people, high people, seen people, doctors even. We used to supply chemicals to cookhouses where they were manufacturing these drugs. So I had a lot of drugs. There was always drugs around me. There was plenty of it. My life was about getting high. When I woke up in the morning, rolled my joint, got high, quest, drugs. That was the quest of my life, was drugs. Whether I bought it with my own money or whether I tattooed people for drugs or whether I tattooed people who had drugs and used drugs while we tattooed them. That was basically my lifestyle. My lifestyle was being high. I was permanently high. And this all went on up until the age of 33. I did not know God. And then, by a divine way, I ended up at a camp, 3-day camp, something similar to this camp, or to this weekend that you guys have experienced. It's also a camp that teaches the basics from the beginning for people who don't know God, don't know Jesus. It teaches you about Father's love and the relationship He wants with you, about the Father's mercy and about His grace, about His forgiveness. But my heart was hard as stone. I was hard. I was cold. Life had dealt me bad. And I couldn't feel love. I couldn't show love. I couldn't give love. And at this camp, I saw people starting to change. Even friends that were with me, druggies that I've drugged with for years, they were all starting to change. They were getting filled with the Spirit of God, and I was so hard-headed, I didn't want to let loose. You know? The drugs had made me cold. And this was freaking me out. I thought my buddies that were with me were doing drugs on the camp, but they're not telling me nothing. They're using all the drugs by themselves. I didn't like the situation I found myself in. So I decided to do something big. I made the best decision and the biggest decision of my whole life. I decided to give God one choice. So I left all the people one side and I went out in the veld and I closed my eyes and I said, God, I don't know you, God. God, I've never known you. I don't even know if you exist, God. But I can see something's happening here and I don't know what it is that's happening, Father. But if you are there, God, please come and meet me. But come and meet me supernaturally. And God waited for that moment. I don't want to cry, it's difficult. Yes, God waited for that moment. And at that moment, God took His Spirit and He pushed it into me.
Amen.
He pushed His Spirit so into me that I was so full, I was running over. I started crying. I've never cried, I didn't know what tears were, and I started crying. I was crying, I couldn't stop crying. And God didn't just, He pushed it, when He pushed His Spirit into me, I felt His love. I felt Him pushing His love right into my very being, and I didn't know what love was. It was a wonderful day, God. The day I was forgiven much, and the day I was reborn. After that experience, God met me in a supernatural way in that felt. He really touched me, but if I had to share that testimony with you, it would take a long time. But God turned me around that day in such a way that I knew and I knew that I knew that Jesus is real. When He put that Spirit of His in me, I felt every chain, every shackle that was binding me, it just dropped off.
Amen.
And I was forgiven. I was free. I walked through that felt a free man. And it was wow. And then my friends came the 4th days. And this is where it gets tough. Because now I was clean, I was washed in the blood of Jesus, and I was a new man, a new creation. And I was full of the power, you know. And so I went back home. And the person that sponsored me for that weekend cost 300 rand for the weekend. I could have had a couple of grand or something for 300 rand. But this man decided he's going to sow the 300 rand into my life. And all he wanted from me was to testify. I had to testify. And that is what I also want to tell you guys today. You have to testify. You have to tell the people your story. Because each and every one of you have a story. Up until now, your story has ended up in a rehab. I'm not even going to say any more about it. You know your life stories. But if you've accepted Christ and you are a new creation, something has happened in your life story, gents. And it's a story to tell. And I want to tell you now that your story can save lives.
Yes.
So I went back from the camp and I did the easy one first. Sent a message to my sister, a godly woman. But I've seen my family so long with all the junk I was doing. I sent a message to her. A little cross, putting cross, a nice song played. And she says, "This is nice, but who are you?" I said, "Hey, it's your favorite brother, man. And just by the way, I was at camp this weekend and I gave my life to Christ." She phones, "What? You jest, man. You gave your life to Christ." And she started crying. And in that moment I felt I glorified Christ. I glorified Christ. You know what my sister did when she put the phone down? Praised God and glorified God. That was the first testimony. That was the easy one. So I had to go to my friends. Some of them were with me on the camp. Others weren't. But we got back and the next day, I don't know how long it was, get to the place where everybody was together and obviously the plates are out, everybody's warming the camp, people have got coke. Yep. People are doing it. Yes, they're cooking there. So, this is where I want you guys to be strong and be bold. This is the difficult part. Because your friends up until now have been the closest to your hearts. I want to tell you now you have a new friend. One true friend who will never let you down.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I said, hey, listen guys. God showed me on this weekend we have to stop drugging. It's going to kill us. I told him, Jesus showed me, I can't sit on two tables. I must sit with him, or I must sit with the table of the devil. I must decide. Jesus showed me he's sitting at the table in front of me, and on his plate he has bread. And in the glass he has wine. He has his body, and he has his blood. And he showed me sitting at the table in front with a plate. And he says to me, how can you sit at my table while I'm offering you my flesh and blood, and on your plate you have got lines of cat and coke? You cannot do this. So this is what I told my friends. Some of them took it. The people that took it glorified God.
Oh.
Because of my testimony, I glorified God. And God honored me for it. But my friends that didn't took it kept on drugging. I want to tell you now that I've lost 3 friends to the grave because of drugs. One of them my blood brother. The hospital says complete system failure. Probably something in the water. But we all know what heroin does to you, hey? So I've lost 3 friends to death. Another friend of mine, a girlfriend of mine, bought bad cat. The runners cut the cat with this powder that they have in globes. She got paralyzed from her neck down. For 2 years, her mom had to turn her around in her bed. She couldn't move because of what the dealers did to her. The dealers don't give a stuff about you. Another friend of mine at the age of 26, he he can testify about Christ now. He is saved. Amen. But at 26 he had to have an open heart surgery. Because the heroin he did was bad. And a fungi, or it is not a fungi. Started, it's something that grew in his heart. It started becoming bad and festering on his heart because of the dirt he was injecting into his arms. 26 years old, open heart surgery. This I can't run around the block with me, people. It's 26. So, that was my second testimony. And then obviously God will use you. If you let God, God will use you. Supernaturally. I don't know how I met these guys. I don't know how I met them. All I know, I remember pitching up at a Kairos. Hey, all of a sudden, you table leader. Yeah, they don't do that. But God will use you supernaturally. You don't have to wonder how you're going to test.